Hi there! Welcome to another episode of Research Simplified. This is Mamaika, and for today we're going to talk about the research ethics. The ethics in research stems from a really dark past that was in the Second World War, when people, out of our desire and hunger for knowledge, opted to perform some inhumane practices in data gathering. That was when humans were used in experiments, even without their consent, without following the proper procedures, and without observing their human rights. People were killed for the sake of research. It was only in 1947 when the Nuremberg Code was established, stating that human consent is a basic necessity in any study. The code, which is probably the most relevant alteration in the history of medical research in particular, was established in Nuremberg, Germany by American judges to Nazi doctors who were accused of performing murder and torture to the prisoners of the Nazi concentration camps. 16 of the 23 defendants were found guilty. 7 of them were sentenced to death, 5 to life imprisonment, 2 to imprisonment for 25 years, 1 to imprisonment for 15 years, and 1 to imprisonment for 10 years. Just imagine if nothing's changed and now we have a pandemic, would you be willing to be used as a participant in testing whether a vaccine works or not, even without your consent? So thanks to those people who really fought for the human rights of the participants, of everyone. Because even though we are in this journey towards knowing the world and unraveling a lot more knowledge and information that we need for further improvements in our lives, we still have to observe what is right, and thus the research ethics. Upon knowing its relevance, at this point, let us start discussing the research ethics. The first one is informed consent. The very first thing that we have to do as researchers is to inform our participants that they will be part of our study. Let us inform them of what the study is about and how were they selected, what was the criteria used. Let us inform them about the schedule of the data gathering, whether that is through interviews or answering survey questionnaires or through observations. When it comes to the schedule, also we have to consider their most available or convenient time. And more importantly, their participation must be voluntary. If the participants do not feel at ease to share some information and hence are not willing to participate in the study, we can never force them to do so. Which leads us to our second point, and that is confidentiality. When we say confidential, these are the information which we cannot share in public. Sometimes in order to protect our participants, we are not allowed to show their faces or use their names in our paper. As researchers, it is a must that we observe confidentiality. The third one is honesty. Let us be honest in reporting the results of our observation or of the interview or the survey questionnaire. Let us not falsify or fabricate the results, nor misrepresent the results. Let us be honest in reporting the results of our study. Next is integrity. Keep your promises, follow the schedule that you've set, act with sincerity, and always strive for consistency in words and in actions. Next is carefulness. Always be careful in following the procedures, in observing the rights of your participants, and in keeping your records. Always avoid careless errors and negligence. Next is openness. Be willing to share your resources, your tools, if they may be shared, and also be open to criticisms. It is through constructive criticisms that we can improve our research. So be willing to accept corrections to further improve your work. Lastly, we have respect for intellectual property. Honor copyrights, trademarks, and other forms of intellectual properties. Do not use any published or even unpublished works without the consent of the writers. give credit where credit is due, and always avoid plagiarism or stealing one's intellectual property and claiming it as if it is your own. Those are the basic research ethics that we have to observe as researchers. Please keep them in mind and in heart. This has been Mamaika. Thank you and God bless.